Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dewayne. I got a video for that Kimble, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. Over the past few weeks, several veterans have reached out to me and say, hey, Dewayne, I reported for my compensation and pension exam and it only lasted 5 minutes. So I'm going to provide you with some essential questions to ask this examiner if you feel they are trying to cut your examination short or rushing through the exam. Let's get into it. Okay, so before I get into these VA claim nuggets, make sure you get signed up for our monthly membership. And don't forget, when you check out, use the code KMD50, Kilo Mike Delta 50. So you feel as though the examiner is rushing through your C&P exam and they're trying to cut it short. I'm going to provide you with some essential questions that you need to ask this examiner and hold them accountable to ensure they capture everything. Let's go ahead and get into it. Question number one. Here in question number one, can we review the information in the diagnostic code criteria for the condition I'm claiming that is listed in the DBQ? Now, let me clarify this for you. You should have already confirmed which exams you're having, what conditions you're reporting for. If you're reporting for migraines, you need to know the 0, 10, 30, and 50% diagnostic code criteria. Where can that information be found in that particular DBQ? So you know if the examiner does not ask you, hey, are your migraines or headaches prostrating? If the examiner does not ask you, does your migraines impact your employment? You know not to leave that exam before you inform that examiner of that. So that's what question number one will cover as an example, okay? Let's keep going. Question number two. Have you reviewed all of my medical records and service treatment records? Okay, so if you're claiming something as direct service connection, you need three things: current diagnosis, a nexus, which that examiner has to provide, and a link. The link is treatment, complaint, diagnosis, injury, or disease that is documented during active duty, okay? I've seen a lot of examiners make the mistake and say, hey, we reviewed the veteran service treatment records from active duty and we didn't see complaints, diagnosis, injury, or anything, when there actually is. So what does that mean? They didn't review it, okay? So ask them, have they reviewed it? Take it a step further, what did you find, okay? Let's keep going. Question number three. Would you please document all of my reported symptoms in the DBQ? It is nothing wrong with asking this particular examiner that question. Okay, you're showing up, you're telling them, hey, these are the symptoms that I have, these are the residuals that I have. They should be documenting that information, okay? Question number four. Can you please explain why you feel the examination is complete? If the examiner, or you've only been there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, just let them know, hey, we still have some stuff to cover. Why do you think you have everything that you need? So I've been hearing veterans say, hey, after 5 minutes, they say, well, I have everything that I need. Well, how so? Especially if it's a joint. You got to measure that range of motion, right? Or if it's not a joint, if it's something else, sleep apnea, they have to go through and ask those questions that are on that DBQ, all right? Don't let them off the hook. Question number five. I have additional symptoms I haven't discussed yet. Can we take the time to address those? Okay, so it's going back to question one. You know what condition that exam is for. You should already know the diagnostic code criteria. And if you know that, and they haven't asked you any of those questions, now is the time to bring it up. Question number 6. Will you please document the frequency and severity of my symptoms? Now, this won't be in all DBQs, but again, a rule of thumb, and this is just my suggestion, look at the DBQs before you report for the exam. So if a question is in that DBQ about frequency, severity, i.e. migraine/headaches DBQ, that's in there, then you know this before you even report to the exam. Question number 7. Can you confirm that you've completed all sections of the DBQ? Now, sometimes they may not be able to do this with you there because some DBQs have a lot of, not a lot, but more than 10 pages, for example, okay? So they may have to do some work after you leave or complete some of this information after you leave, but the pertinent information that goes on that DBQ, the questions that they need to ask as it pertains to the diagnostic codes. Now, a lot of examiners, they're not going to know what diagnostic code is, okay? Because that's not their job. That's on the rating side of things, okay? But you, the veteran, you should know that because if you receive a positive opinion, then the rater needs to know what percentage to assign. A 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% or whatever. And the criteria that is in that DBQ or the evidence or information that's in that DBQ is going to help the rater assign the correct percentage, okay? Thus, this particular question along with the others. Number 8, I have flare-ups that we haven't discussed. Can we document those? There it is. And the examiner may say, sure. Well, how many flare-ups have you had over the past month, over the past year? You the veteran, you know. So you have to report that. And they should be documented on your DBQ from the CMP exam. Question number 9. Have you noted the impact of this condition on my daily activities and work? That is so important. And if the examiner says, well, there's not a section for that. Yes, it is. In the remarks section. Also, all DBQs, it asks the question about the impact on employment or activities. They can put that information there, okay? But definitely they can put it under the remarks section. Ask them. If they say, hey, there's no section, put it under the remarks so the rater can see it, okay? The last question, question number 10. Can you please measure and document my range of motion using a goniometer per 38 CFR 4.46. Okay, again, 38 CFR 4.46. A lot of veterans have been telling me, Dewayne, I went to the exam, I watched your video about range of motion, and the examiner says, I can eyeball it. Their training that they get, it does not say anything about eyeballing. It says goniometer, okay? So print out 38 CFR 4.46 and say, hey, this is the VA regulation that instructs you to measure my range of motion using a goniometer. Now they may come back and say, well, I don't have one, but in my range of motion video, I shared a link in the description section to Amazon where they sold a pack of 3, 6, 8, and 12-inch goniometers, $7.99. People purchased them, took them to the exam, and they let me know, Dewayne, you won't believe what happened at my joint exam. My examiner's eyes got really big when I asked them to measure my range of motion using a goniometer. They didn't have one, and I pulled one out of my back pocket. So there you have it. 10 essential questions when your CMP examiner decides to try and cut your exam short and not ask all the pertinent questions. Now, I know I'm going to get some comments saying, Dewayne, I shouldn't have to do all that. And you're correct. you shouldn't have to ask all of these questions. These examiners should be doing their jobs, but a lot of them are not. So we got to hold them accountable. So with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and as always, share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.